progress, were there any mentors that you met along the way that were like really special people that you really felt, in retrospect, these were great additions to your life?
In the military?
Yeah. Or before, at any time, any mentors along the way?
Particularly in my adult life, there was a particular professor in my master's program, and he was actually very integral in my selecting a particular doctoral program, because he used to teach, before teaching in my master's program, he taught at the university where I got my doctorate, and was very outspoken about that being a good fit for me and where I should go. And he was right. And he was very much a mentor. I specialize in gender studies and the psychology of men. And that was his area. So he was very, I became enamored with it because of him.
What was it about his mentorship that was so inspiring? What was it about? Who he was, or how he taught, or his passion for the subject? What made it so good?
It was a little bit of all of it. I mean, I first so he ended up being my academic advisor in my master's program. But the first time I met him, just coincidentally, was when I took my Intro to Counseling course, my very first master's course, and I was going at night, so it took me a long time. But I was a pretty terrible student when I was younger. Even in college, I barely got through, and I hated school, and I never thought of myself as someone who would go to graduate school. And so when I did go, I was nervous, and it had been 10 years since I was last in school, so I was nervous about that. And
a gutsy step at that age to start taking it back on.
Yeah, I really wasn't even planning to get a degree. I was planning to learn some skills that I thought would better help my personal training clients. I suspected it was either psychological or family-based kind of things that were in the way of their goals more than physical obstacles. And so I really only intended to take a course or two to try to help them. And so this was the first course. And I remember he's Dr. Mark Kaselica was his name, or is his name. And he got up in front of the class, and the first words out of his mouth, I think, were, welcome, scholars. And I almost fell out of my seat. No one had ever, maybe in deep sarcasm. Other than that, I don't think anyone would have ever referred to me as a scholar.
You kind of looked to the back of the room like, who's he talking to?
Yeah, right, exactly. It was and I was already in the back of the room. Like, I was that guy. I sat, in the back. I didn't want to be noticed, even though, counseling is a career field with a lot of mostly women. And so I towered over most of them, and I'm this big gorilla of a human, and I was a decade older than all of them. So here I am trying not to stand out,
Good luck.
But so just that, the way he spoke to us, and he did so without a shred of, condescension, without a shred of disbelief. He believed it. At least I felt like he believed it when he said it. And so I found him to be very inspiring and motivating. And then, as I mentioned, my mom died when I was very young, and I had a tumultuous relationship with my dad. And so the idea of what it means to be a man or to grow up a man was a big deal to me as a kid. It was something I was always looking for. And here was this whole group of people and body of research and area of work that focuses on that. And a lot of what I had learned about how to be a man, there was a lot of it that I liked, a lot of it that inspired me and I thought were great characteristics, probably of women too, right? There's, a lot of the things we say make a great man also make a great woman, right? Loyalty and strength of character. And, right. Yeah. But there was a lot of what it meant to be a man that I just found really unappealing. I'm trying not to use the word toxic, because there's like a social thing around toxic masculinity. but there was a lot of it that just didn't appeal to me. And it seemed unnecessarily violent and unnecessarily self-deprecating, right? We don't take care of our health. We use excess drugs and alcohol. We don't deal with our emotions. We don't, any of those things. We don't use an umbrella if it's raining. I mean, all these ideas, right? And so I found this area of study that allowed me to both appreciate the areas of what it means to be a man that were meaningful to me and important to me, and to see in what ways those things, those qualities or characteristics better my life or make me a better human.
Yeah.
And in the areas that weren't useful for me, I felt empowered to transcend them and to do something different and to not care about one of the problems with masculinity is that it's socially policed, and other people watch what you're doing and then threaten with losing your manhood if you don't behave the way they want you to. And I don't know, seeing through all that or seeing it clearly helped me to not care about it very much.
And that professor was a good part of that capacity to
For sure, yeah. He was really exquisite in the ways that he, there's this idea that a good teacher shows you where to look, but not what to see. They tell you where to look, but they don't tell you what to see. And he did that exquisitely. I don't feel like he ever imposed his values or his ideas on me ever, but always encouraged me to just be curious and to look and to consider, and was perfectly okay when I landed in a different place than he did.
That's beautiful.
So, yeah, it really was.
That's a tremendous leadership skill, is to be able to guide the discovery and the curiosity without
Right.
an attachment to where that has to go.
Right. Right.